Good morning, you are joining us from Ingleton Waterfalls Trail, which is in North Yorkshire in the UK. It is a little bit windy this morning. Oh, it's actually the afternoon now. We spent and just had dinner in the car before we set off. This is a long circular route through waterfalls. It is 4.5 miles. However, it does cost £10 to get in, but can you do this for free? These are the ticket prices as of September 2023. We are on the car park at the minute, and they have toilets, or they call these seasonal toilets, so they might be shut different times of year, but they do have more toilets at a cafe a little bit further down. But tip number one, always go to the toilet before you set off, because it is a 2 to 4 hour walk. So the route starts off through forests. You see lots of waterfalls on the way. This is one big climb, but then you do pop out and get to see lots of nice field, farmland and scenery through this bit round to the bottom. So we're heading towards the entrance now, where you have to pay your £10 entrance fee, and that means your parking is also free. Oh, we've just paid our entry fee, and we've got a little leaflet here, but he did say a tree fell down last night. It's a bit further up near some sort of bridge, and he said like it's about this high. So was it not easier to kind of go over it instead of under it? He said no, you can't go over it, so I don't know, we might have to limbo under this as we when we get up there, see how high it is. Right, so the time is 12:15 and we are at the very beginning of this walk. The man said it'll going to take us about 2.5 hours, but we do usually take a bit longer when we're on our walks. But we don't need to stop for dinner because we have already had that in the car. We've just got a few snacks, and we usually stop to try and take a couple of pictures as well. So we have actually done this walk once before, and we're coming back to experience it properly, because the first time we did it, we were here on holiday in the caravan, and it forecast like showers, downpours. We all dressed in really big thick parkas and leggings and jogging bottoms, and when we got here it was the complete opposite, and we were sweating. We had nowhere to kind of put our coats. We didn't really bring enough water. It was absolutely hell on earth. I was sat on the floor and my legs were shaking. So it wasn't all that great of an experience to do, even though we liked the walk itself. So we've come back on a lot cooler day in September, where there's no rain. Yeah. If you remember, if you're watching from my other channel, which is where that walk is on, you'll see how hot it was, because I did document that walk as well. And there's an ice cream van like a third of the way around the walk, and Adam could not wait to get to the ice cream van. But we have already just passed, ooh, it's very slippy. We have just passed 3 people coming this way. So they do state on the website, on the maps, on the board on the way in, that is very much a one-way system. So we've just had people coming this way, which makes it kind of difficult because the path is really narrow in some places and it's quite slippy today. But we'll explain why it's a one-way route as we get a little bit further round. This is the first test run for my new walking boots. Nice kid size 4s, so they only cost me £18. So we're in the sale. And I also found cheaper ones on eBay as well. But it's never a good idea to come on a 2 to 4 hour walk with brand new shoes on that you've never worn before. And this is something I wouldn't ever have thought of before. But again, on my other channel, if you've come from over there, very recently I wore a pair of sandals that I'd not worn in before. I only wore them for about a 10-minute walk, and I got blisters on the back of my foot, as you usually would in some new trainers or new shoes you're wearing in. However, what I wasn't expecting was those blisters to get infected, and my entire foot swelled up, both feet. They went purple, all got infected. I had to go on antibiotics. I couldn't walk or stand on them until the antibiotics had kicked in. So what I have done is I've thought ahead, and I've brought plasters just in case they start rubbing, and if it gets that bad, I have also packed my trainers. Well, Adam's carrying my trainers in the bag just in case, because this is not something I would usually have thought of before. But yeah, take note, if you are wearing brand new things, bring a backup. We've already passed 2 groups of people coming this way, so if you have a look on the internet, there is a tip that you can do Ingleton Waterfalls for free without paying the entry fee if you do the walk in reverse. The end of the walk has no barriers, it just opens out onto a road that takes you into Ingleton, the town itself. So essentially you can get free access that way, but what they fail to tell you on the internet is they have a one-way gate halfway around the route. I will show you it when I get to it. There is a way to bypass that again by just waiting for somebody to walk the correct way, and then you are able to get access through the gate. But I filmed the entrance for a reason. So the entrance where we came in would be your exit if you did the walk in reverse. There are turnstiles, there are 2 people sat either side waiting to take your admission. There is nowhere else to get out if you're coming back that way. So you either have to kind of do the walk of shame past the workers who know they didn't sell you a ticket that morning. I'm not going to say that they won't allow you out. I think they would probably allow you out, but there are turnstiles there. There are people there. So it's up to you whether you want to risk it or not. But the £10 entrance fee, it is a little bit steep. I would say it's probably best if it was, say, around about £6, because it is essentially a walk. Most walks are free, but we will tell you whether the £10 is worth it or not. We decided to come and do this walk again. Like I mentioned, it was too hot the first time, but it was also very, very, very busy the first time we came as well. It was just after lockdown. People wanted to get out into nature, and because there's some areas of the track are quite narrow, you felt like you had to keep the pace. There were people behind you, there were people in front of you. You couldn't really stop because then the people behind you couldn't get past. So you felt like you had to keep the pace up until the path opened up, and it just felt very stressful. One thing I like about walks is, 1, it gets you out in nature, 2, it's exercise, but 3, it's best enjoyed like solitary, just with you and your family. You don't want hundreds of other people also on the same walk. So it's a lot quieter today in September. Obviously there's also big bricks that you trip over, but we are way past the pandemic now. So it means there's not as many people here all trying to get out into nature and doing the walks. Lots and lots of steps. It's also not very wet, but it is still slippy, even though it's not too wet. You can hear the sound of a chainsaw just up ahead, so sounds like somebody's out to fix that fallen tree. Once you get up a super steep part of the walk, there is this little hut. Tip number 2, bring cash, because this is a cash only hut selling drinks, sandwiches, snacks. We've obviously brought our own. Adam's just down there. We just stopped for a little drink and a snack, but it does get busy up here. People having a rest before they set off on the rest of the walk. We're just past waterfall number 2 on the map, and we're now making our way to number 3. So we're almost up one full side. And then the other side will be nice open farmland, sheep, and some nice views. We're roughly here on the map now, between 2 and 3. Thornton Force it's called, and this is the most impressive waterfall because it opens right out. You can fit a lot of people in. It's the most photogenic one. It's just round this corner. We have had to strip the outer layer off. Adam had a fleece on and I had my fleecy jacket on, and we're back down to just t-shirts because it's very, very windy. Ooh, and very, very cold with the wind, but it's just very hot when you're walking. So tip number 3, we have moisture wicking t-shirts on. Not something I thought I would ever buy, but Adam's got one from Mountain Warehouse. I think this one was possibly somewhere like Mountain Warehouse, but you are going to pay about £12. Tip though, if you go to Primark into the sports section, they are also moisture wicking, but they only cost you about £4. Here it is, super popular picture spot. There's people dotted around everywhere having their pictures taken, but it's a nice spot to have some dinner as well. Now 1:30 as we've hit the main waterfall. It does get really, really popular, so if you're wanting to come for like unspoiled shots, because you always get people climbing behind the waterfall and stuff, either come really, really early or really, really late. We're now right here, just crossing the river. So we've come from this direction where that big waterfall is, and the route takes you down here, across the river and up the other side, and then you start to loop back down that way. Now, this river is not fenced off, and it doesn't look too difficult to walk. There isn't a path, but it doesn't look too difficult if you could walk down and follow the river. As if you can see, there's a stone wall running across there, which is actually a road, because I've just seen a car go down it. So if you look on Google Maps and can find this road, you could possibly park down there, walk up the side of the riverbank and join the Ingleton Waterfall trail. You could walk back and have a look at the big waterfall if you wanted. There's nothing stopping you from going back on yourself to look at that and then continuing with the rest of the route. We've just stopped for a spot of fruit. We've got pineapple, grapes and apple. But Adam's just made a good point that if you did park here and start the route from here, obviously you're going to have to end it here as well. So you'll have to have a look on Google Maps. If you joined here and you end up in Ingleton village where the end of the walk is, you then obviously have to make your way all the way back round to your car. But the scenery isn't bad, so I'm assuming it'd be still a nice walk, but your circular route would obviously look a lot different than the one on the trail. There's another car just making its way down. I think it is a public road because I've seen 4 or 5 of them now and a cyclist, so they have this sign here saying no entry because there's a one-way system in place, but there's absolutely nothing stopping you as of yet going the other way. This is where you get some nice views up here when you've climbed all the way to the top, all the way around the steps. You get some really nice, what did you say?
Ice cream van.
Adam spotted the ice cream van. When you've made your way up, this was an absolute godsend on that super hot day we had last time. You just see it over the wall. This is one of my favourite bits of this walk. It just looks really, really normal. It's just a bit like a dirt road, like a farm track. We have a stone wall out onto some really nice country views. And then as we get lower and lower down here, we'll pass like a farm, which is the only other set of toilets. So you've got toilets at the start and toilets at this little farm. You can also pick up some more food, and then it will drop back down into the woodland, and that is where we'll find the one-way gate, which I'll show you when we get there, and we'll point it out where roughly it is on the map as well. There's also this part of the trail. The trail goes straight ahead here. We've just come from down here. This is actually a public footpath as well, but there is a road that kind of sweeps off, so that's potentially another place you could join. And we're just coming up to the little hut here where you can grab some more refreshments if you've run out, if you've already gone through all your stash on the way up. Just dropping down now, and they have a little caravan park down here, so you've got some static caravans. There's people there in tents. If I pan across, there's a few campers parked up in a field. Although we're coming up to a public road here, so another potential place to join the walk. We are now more than halfway through it, so you'll only be getting half the walk done unless you wanted to, backtrack all the way back to the waterfalls. But it can be done if you wanted to save a tenner. So we've just come past Beasley Farm, where all the toilets and refreshments are, and you've got a split in the path here, so there's an alternative route, or you can continue on with the trail. So it's just this yellow dot if you want the alternative route, but it seems like you do miss a couple of the waterfalls. I'm assuming it might miss some of the steps. We're not sure, we've never done that route before, but I know on the way back down it is step heavy. These are the waterfalls you would miss taking that alternative path. There are just lots and lots of steps like these all the way down now. It's now 3 o'clock. We have had to put the jackets back on because we've got very, very windy up on them tops. It's very, very cold in that wind. Like I said, it is 3 o'clock in the afternoon now, so the temperature's dropped, the sun's gone in. Don't need anything more than this though. We don't need extra coats or anything. Adam's ready for a cup of coffee. When we get back to the car, give you an idea of some of the terrain. There's lots of tree roots sticking up, lots of rocks sticking up, big pieces of wood, some boggy areas.
And Adam.
And Adam. We've just passed number 6 called Snowfalls. So on the map that's here. And we're just about to cross the river on a bridge, and this is the one-way gate. So it looks like that. We cross this skinny little bridge. And then this is your one-way opening gate. So you just have to press this green button to unlock it. And then it shuts behind with a no entry sign. But we have, last time we were here, people who was doing the walk in reverse coming round this way. They were literally just standing here waiting for people to come round to open this gate. And it's not hard to do because the walk is really popular, and although it looks like there's not many people, there's already another group coming down and another group after them and another group after them. So there's always going to be somebody here to unlock this gate. Problem comes when you come to the other side, when you want to actually exit through the entrance. That's where those little turnstiles are, and the 2 people sat waiting in the booth. We're right near the end of the walk now. Made it most of the way around, but you get to see such different scenery at each different point. Right, we've just passed through the gate and we've made it now onto an actual road. So this will take us down into Ingleton village itself. You get to walk through a couple of the little shopping streets and stuff back to the car park. But yeah, this is what I mean about there being no like barriers or anything at this end. You could essentially just walk straight through. It's in some little signboard. Adam spotted a chip. Yeah, there's little fish and chips you could treat yourself to if you wanted to get something for tea. Lots of nice little shops. There's fish and chips is literally right at the end of the trail. Oh, that smells good. That smells so good. These cute little knick-knack shops, gift shops, handmade items. This little bits of bunting everywhere makes it look really cute. Adam's looking at the estate agent. Any houses?
Not from our price range, no.
650 grand. Lots of little pizzerias. They've got a little co-op. Huge church on the right. And then I think we're down this path, I think. Nice little river here. You've got holiday cottages as well if you fancy staying in one of those. It's like in one of these terrace here. And they also have a B&B guest house. And we're back to the start. Back towards the car park. And you have a little cafe over there with another set of toilets, just in case you need it just before heading off home. It's now almost 4 o'clock, which means our walk has taken us 3 hours and 45 minutes. The reason it's taken us that longer, we stopped a heck of a lot for different snacks, drinks. We let other people pass, like we'd stand there for quite a while trying letting, you know, big groups of people go past. We stopped for photos, we stopped for footage, for the vlog. So yeah, it did take a lot longer, but this time around the walk was so much easier. So we're just eating our last snack before we go home. A cheapo cartwheel, not a wagon wheel, a cartwheel from Aldi. So what did you think of the walk?
Knackered.
Knackered. What do you think of the £10 price to get in?
Not worth it.
Not worth it. Would you do the walk backwards or join halfway through?
No.
So I would do the full walk. I don't mind paying an entrance fee, but I think the entrance fee is too steep.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
For me, it's not, the waterfalls aren't man-made. They're a natural thing that exists in nature, and nature should be free for everybody. There's other things that cost a lot. We've just been to a theme park, zoos, things like that are man-made and built and you have to pay to get in. Nature to me should be free for everybody to enjoy who can't afford to go to zoos. So the £10 entrance fee for that, I think, is
Too steep.
it's too steep. It would be much better if it was, let's say, like £5 a person, £6 a person.
I get the money you've got to pay for the upkeep of the paths.
Yeah,
I
but
get that.
there's other places in nature that are free to get in that also have paths that have to be upkept by like National Trust and whoever owns the walk.
It's a £10. It's just too steep.
It is steep. But
Fiver.
if you like your waterfalls and you want to see that big impressive one, it's £10 to get in. I would
But
say,
think about it. It's £10 to get in, but it's free parking
yeah,
because you've paid that in your ticket price. So if they lowered the price of your ticket, they would probably put your parking on top. You'd have to pay for your parking.
yeah. But if they said like it's free entry and your parking's £10, £10 is still steep for parking.
Yeah, I know. But the other way it'd end up being, it wouldn't be a set fee for your parking. It'd be parking by the hour. So then they'd be paying more. But I'm not on the council, so.
Chewing my biscuit.
Turn my biscuit.
Chewing my biscuit.
Turn my biscuit. Them fish and chips smell really good.
I know it doesn't quite hit the same with a jammy cartwheel.
No, it doesn't. It's spot.
But yeah, if you like your waterfalls, I would say come and do it at least once, and then you've done it.
It's a good
Just
walk.
to experience. Yeah, it's a good walk. It's tiring, lots and lots of steps. Like I said, it took us, let's be fair, almost 4 hours. They did say between 2 and 4 hours. The bloke on the way in said 2.5 hours, but we did do a lot of stopping because I was trying to get pictures and things, and you don't want people in your pictures, or you don't want people walking right behind you. Some people just don't give you any personal space and they're walking right behind you, so you have to stand off to the side and let people pass. So that can take longer, especially if it's a busier day.
I didn't get my beer.
I've got a bottle of water.
I've drank that.
I could have some of mine if you want. But if you are considering skipping the entrance fee, hopefully we've shown you a few different areas that you could join the walk or the trail if you wanted to. Lots of public bridleways join in as well near the end, and there's nothing stopping you apart from that grey gate, but that's like quite near the end. There's nothing stopping you backtracking. I just think it's a bit hard to backtrack right to the very entrance where they have those turnstiles and the 2 people sitting there, because they do stop people going in. The last admittance that will let you in is 4 PM. So if you make your way round and it's close to 4 PM, I'm not sure how you're going to get out. I don't know what the situation is, whether they have shutters or they lock something so that you can't get out. I'm not sure, but I would probably just join it part way and go around the one-way system if you didn't want to pay the £10. But hopefully this video has been useful if you want to come and have a visit, and now you know how to get in for free. I don't know what's next. We don't have anything planned, so I guess we'll just see you in the next video, whatever that might be.